In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.
Welcome to the What's That Music About podcast. I'm your host, DJ Rambo Rich, and in this episode we're speaking with the Pressed On, who is a DJ that DJs primarily on vinyl. So with no further ado, we're just going to get you to introduce yourself, tell about yourself a bit, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, thanks. So, as you said, my name is, my stage name is the Pressed On DJ. And yeah, I'm trying to play on vinyl mostly, and I'm based in Preston.
Cool, man, cool. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take it to the first round, which is mixtapes and memories. So this is the first round, mixtapes and memories. And in mixtapes and memories, we talk about the key moments that shaped your musical tastes and influences. So to start that off, what's your first musical memory?
I was trying to think about this before. Probably listening to a Spice Girls tape in my mum's car, I would say.
Right, cool, man. And
not that cool, I don't think.
No, but at the time it was. You know what I mean? Like I say, at the time
it's come back in a little bit.
No, and especially, actually, funny you say Spice Girls. There's a remix of Wannabe that I've played recently, and when I put it on, it did bring back those nostalgia vibes for people.
Oh yeah, I bet it's a crowd pleaser.
It is a crowd pleaser, I tell you. So it's funny how you mentioned that, and I've had that experience, and we were just talking before about nostalgia. Like, it's a good thing, sometimes as a DJ, the nostalgia, because you can sort of play on that, can't you?
Well, I think that ties into the whole vinyl thing as well. People like hearing those old records, and they like seeing things being done the old-fashioned way sometimes.
Definitely. I'm going to ask some different questions in this section because I feel like, as a guest, you're quite unique in the fact that you DJ on vinyl. So what sort of how did you get started in DJing vinyl? Because obviously we live in the digital age, don't we? So what sort of made you gravitate towards vinyl over sort of the digital side of things?
Well, I did start off digital years ago. So I've kind of done it the wrong way around, really. So I started off with a little Newmark controller years and years ago, progressed on to CDJs, and then I had a bit of a break from DJing for a few years. And then when I got back into it more recently, I just felt like I wanted to approach it from a fresh angle, and decided to go down the old school route.
I mean, I love it. I love it. Like, I always see you, and you turn, obviously, digital DJs, they turn up and it's generally the stuff is there, isn't it? But with you, you've obviously got to take all your equipment, you got to take all those tracks, and I feel like I get the chance now to actually say that your commitment to this is second to none, because you've got to turn on all these extra elements to make it happen, and I just want to praise you for that, man.
I'm not sure I deserve any praise, but thank you very much for that. It's especially more recently as I've been getting more gigs, I'm realizing that it's quite a lot of gear, and it is quite a big effort to get it to gigs. But I have been able to quit my gym membership recently, so I'm getting in I'm getting heavy lifting elsewhere, shall we say?
No need for the weight rack anymore. You just lift your vinyl player in that.
Yeah, that's it.
So what's your first experience of DJing then, like a live performance?
First ever experience?
Yeah.
Well, as I said, I started off years ago just with, just a tiny Newmark controller that you'd plug into an old laptop. And so that was when I was at college. And the first ever, I'd have done a few house parties and that kind of thing with that.
Yeah.
But I think there was some kind of, I think it might have been a birthday party in Chorley or something like that. Was the first time I played in a venue. It was probably something like a town hall or something like that. And I just remember being on a tiny little table with my mate who used to do it with me. and it was pretty basic.
Cool, man. So what was the? I feel like this is an obvious question to ask you. So what was the first vinyl you bought then?
Question, actually. What was the first vinyl I bought? Possibly Man with the Red Face by Laurent Garnier, but a slightly different mix of that.
Right.
Yeah, but I bought quite a few at the same time around that time, and once I decided I was definitely going to be getting a set of turntables, I started getting a few records in preparation for that. But that's one that comes to mind. That was one of the early ones. Yeah.
So obviously you probably have quite a big collection of vinyls.
Well, I think for the average person, it probably seems so. But then you talk to various vinyl DJs, and it makes my collection look quite meager, actually.
I mean, the best collection of vinyl collections I've ever seen of a DJ is probably Carl Cox.
Oh, right.
I saw this video, and it's like a library.
Oh, yeah. Incredible.
Like, it's got like the like you'd have obviously like massive bookshelves, but like they're not like you could put your hand straight through it basically, and it's just vinyls. And like, the amount of vinyls he's got, he must have like 10,000 vinyls easily.
Well, I mean, and because he's such a legend, and
he probably gets given them all the time.
That's what I mean. One of the biggest in the business. People will be chucking vinyl at him just with the hope that he plays it. But yeah, I mean, you underestimate the amount of space and the weight of it as well. I mean, so in one box, I'll typically have around 50 records. That weighs a lot. I mean, when you pick up one record, you think, oh, it's quite a flimsy little bit of plastic, but it all adds up together, and it must be quite dense.
Definitely. I mean, 1 second, I'll just show you here. I mean, I have some myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I say,
nice little box. That looks like one of mine, actually.
And the latest thing I bought was Danny Bird.
Is that just some drum and bass?
Yeah, drum and bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say. Yeah. So I think. So what are sort of your favourite artists then? Like to play, I mean.
Yeah, to play. I suppose I would say one of my favourite artists is our Bicep, but the kind of gigs that I play and the kind of venues that I play at the moment, that's probably not really the kind of vibe I'm going with. I'm trying to think. How about I grab one of my boxes and I'll have a look.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem.
I play regularly.
Yeah, I feel like I've added a new element to my podcast. It's like show and tell.
Yeah, it's nice. Let's have a look. Well, so you've probably heard of Gene Farris, but I didn't really know much about Gene Farris until I started going on vinyl, and it's given me a whole different perspective on music, really. So I like playing quite a lot of his records. I've got this one here. What's the track that I usually play? Oh yeah, Ricky Ricardo. Gene Farris. Yeah, that's a banger. Oh, I like Oliver Dollar a lot as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Oliver Dollar.
It rings a bell. Probably if I heard it, I would,
Yeah.
recognize it.
I have. He's probably the one I have probably the most records.
Like of his catalogue, would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, compared to like from my collection, yeah, I've probably got, I don't know, 5 or 6 Oliver Dollar records. And it's kind of tends to be disco-y, soul-y, house kind of stuff. Which is the vibe I'm going in for. I mean, I love Groove Armada as well.
I mean, I'm with you there. Definitely.
Yeah, and so one of the great things about starting to collect vinyl and play on vinyl is you discover things that you didn't know existed because you've usually limited yourself to digital recordings. Every now and again, there's a vinyl record you can find that doesn't exist on digital that you can't download. Yeah. So it feels quite special, and I've discovered some quite special tracks that way.
I mean, that's probably a good unique like power of yours as a DJ is to have those tracks that you can't get elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and I've become more conscious of that more recently, and I've been trying to really look and dig for those vinyl exclusive records.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of did something similar, but obviously with more of an element to DJ. Cancelled my Spotify subscription because that's where I sort of like searched for new tracks and what was the social sort of trend sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then I just go to like like really sort of retro sort of like CD and vinyl shop
Mm.
and just go through the CD racks and try and find things.
Yeah.
Like a bit like a Preston, they've got Action Records.
Well, yeah. If you look behind me, that's a print from Action Records, actually.
I thought I did recognise it actually, to be fair. But like I say, I feel like it makes you really sort of think more consciously about what you actually are playing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Spotify's amazing and it's great and it's convenient and it's wonderful, but you often get led down a path where many other people are being led down that path as well. And so if you start searching elsewhere, even if it's not, even if it's not just vinyl, even if it's still on digital, you're probably finding something that 99% of DJs aren't going to be playing in their sets that week.
Definitely, because I feel like obviously there's usually the top 40, isn't there, with all the current songs that are going to do well. Then you've got like all the classic like the classic tracks. Then you've got sort of just nostalgia tracks, and it's sort of easy. They are sort of like some songs, they're sort of easy wins, aren't they? Generally, like there's some songs that any night of the week they'd be perfect, wouldn't you? But at the same time, you want to give that to the audience, but you want to give them something that's a little bit more unique is the wrong word to use, but you know what I'm trying to say, like a bit of a fresh, I'll say, like a fresh thing, for them to listen to, because then you're not like just everybody else, are you? You're being more true to what sort of you enjoy, as well at the same time giving what the audience enjoys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes it more special for sure, and I think there's a fine balance there, isn't there, between playing the classics, playing the floor fillers, but also putting your own stamp on things.
Definitely, definitely. I think we've come to the end of this round, so we're going to move on to the next round, which is on repeat. So 1 second and we'll be back. Okay, so this is on repeat, and on repeat we talk about your current challenges and current gigs and projects. So to start that off, what are your current daily challenges, or whenever you come to do your vinyl DJing, what are the challenges you sort of find yourself facing, or like successes, basically?
Well, I mean, this last year, I've pretty much been trying to practice every day. So when I get home from work, I'm trying to do at least an hour a day, and that can be challenging, but at the same time, it's actually really rewarding as well, and provides a nice balance and escape from work as well.
Definitely. So what do you find yourself sort of repeatedly trying to like improve, or like to work on, or to help you grow as a vinyl DJ?
Well, I tend to rotate the kind of stuff I'm practicing with each day. And so, a few nights a week, I'll be practicing playing and mixing house music, which is my favorite genre, and that's my go-to genre, and just trying to perfect the mixing technique there, and get to know my tracks as well as I can. But then on other nights, I'll focus more on another genre. Like I'm starting to get more of a collection of these hip hop more recently.
Cool, man.
So that's a new skill of mixing. It's a different style, and so I'm trying to branch out a little bit in that, and diversify a bit.
It's funny you say that about 90s hip hop, because I was just looking at my bookshelf a minute like before. I was trying to think of a book to try and read. You have books and you're like, oh, I've not read that in a while. I need to reread it. Well, I've got one that I think you probably should take a look at.
Oh yeah.
It's called the periodic table. And you know what the periodic table is? Obviously, it's elements. Well, this is called the periodic table of hip hop.
Oh yeah.
So it breaks down the complete history of hip hop up to, I think, to the early or late 2000s, like below 2010,
Okay.
into different genres, like elements on the periodic table. So you got like your pre-hip hop, your old school, the new school, golden age, and then there's other one, but because I'm dyslexic, I can't read this word, which is funny.
Yeah.
But no, but it breaks down the artists and everything. Now, unfortunately, I was going to try and get the guy that wrote this book on the podcast, but since buying the book, he's unfortunately died, which is terrible because I think he was onto something with the periodic table of music.
Mm.
I feel like it was a series that he could have made, like hip hop, house music. You know, I feel like he'd hit upon something really interesting. But you were saying about trying hip hop. This is definitely a book you want to look at
Yeah.
for, you know, because it goes into detail about like, I mean, I'll tell you an artist on pre-hip hop, James Brown, for example, Iceberg Slim. And then it goes into like the old school, which is like African Bambaataa, I probably butchered his name there, Grandmaster Flash. And then it moves on from there, but that's definitely something to look at. Like I say, I never really enjoyed like reading physical books. I like audio books, but that was one book I did like read covers. I was on the train, cover to cover. I was like engrossed in it. Like hip hop, that's probably a good book to read.
I think that's a good recommendation. I'm with you on the audiobooks as well. I do enjoy an audiobook myself.
I love an audiobook, but I always listen to it when I go to bed and then I fall asleep and I'm like, oh my god. I wake up and it's still going. But no, I feel like we got off track there. But no, definitely. So you're working on like sort of more of a hip hop vibe.
Well, just trying to expand my mixing skills and just have another genre to turn to.
So is there any other genres you're like interested in trying?
At the moment, no. At the moment, I'm carrying on growing my collection of house and, you know, a combination of more obscure stuff along with the classic floor fillers. And then really my hip hop collection has only just begun. I've got about 50 records there. I've kind of, at the moment, I want to get that right first before I go anywhere else.
Yeah, I totally get you there.
So my girlfriend is from Wigan, and she and her family they really like Northern Soul. Northern Soul is typically mixed on 7-inch records.
Right.
And I don't have many 7-inch records, but perhaps that might be a direction I can go in the future, because mixing on 7-inch records is even more challenging than mixing on 12 inches.
Yeah, cool, man. So for the audience, what makes it more challenging?
I believe it's to do with, well, obviously, firstly, it's smaller, so you've got less of a surface area to work with. But I think also that the grooves are closer together, so it's easier for the record needle to skip out.
Right.
But also because of the size of the record, you have to be even more delicate when physically manipulating the record. Otherwise, there will be larger changes in the speed or the position of the record in comparison to 12-inch records. So it's kind of a next level of skill. Also, I suppose, because there's less room on a 7-inch record, the tracks are shorter version, because typically that's, you know, it's a single, so you don't have the comfort that you sometimes get from a 12-inch record, which is, you know, a full length extended mix, which gives you a bit more room to play with.
Definitely. I love that. I think like it's interesting you say about singles. Like that's not really a thing, I feel, anymore. Obviously they release singles, don't they, people? Like it was more based upon like the physical media the emphasis of the single. I feel. I don't know how you feel about that. Obviously, people release albums now, don't they? And they put a single out and everything. I feel like, in my own experience, I connect the single with like physical, more physical media, like you say, vinyl and like
Really?
CDs and cassette tapes. Like that, from my personal experience, I
Hmm.
feel like I connect the single more with the sort of physical media because
Yeah.
these days, obviously, we've got like social media and obviously people use like reels and things. They put the track on there, so you don't necessarily like get it from the album chart and that. You get it from like a post and that you see. So I don't know how you feel on that.
Well, yeah, I think you're right in what you say. I think there was more of a ceremony, wasn't there, to going out and buying the
Yeah,
week's
like
latest single, whether it was on tape or CD or vinyl. There was something more deliberate about it. But I agree as well that, and I've noticed this particularly in the last few years, where tracks seem to have got shorter and shorter, or certainly the ones that, the versions that you're exposed to first, which is interesting. Probably it ties into people's what's the word, their ability to focus, their attention span.
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a shame that obviously attention spans because of social media.
Well, we've got so much stimulation, haven't we? That
It's crazy, isn't
there's always
it?
something trying to grab our attention, and it's quite rare if it's for more than a few minutes.
I don't know about you, but I've started at night at a certain time of night. I think it's 9 o'clock now. Just turn my phone off.
Mm.
Just turn it off. Just turn it off. Put it in the drawer. Forget about it. I
Well,
just need
I
that.
think that's good. I think that's healthy. I think I've been very good at that in the past, and I do really value my sleep, which is probably a bit of a contradiction for a DJ at times. But I do. But I found myself recently because I didn't have Instagram. I had it years ago, but then got rid of it, and I only just got
Same
it.
here. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I only just got it. I think it was September or October, just to start promoting the DJ stuff a little bit. But I have noticed myself being drawn in a little bit to scrolling, or to
Yeah.
posting and checking your notifications, and that I've started doing that probably a little bit too close to bedtime.
Hmm. I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? We're all guilty of it, and it's a slippery slope, and it's it depends on the day really. Sometimes I feel like depending on what content that's on the sort of the scroll of doom, as I call it, the never ending scroll. I mean,
Mhm.
apparently I found out that they developed that because something to do with the brain that like people need to finish a task, so that's why the scroll that never ends is
Right.
there because you have to want to try and finish it, but it's an impossible task.
Yeah.
So you,
I mean,
so you,
I can definitely relate to the psychology of wanting to finish something. It reminds me actually of being in, well, just today, even I was in Action Records having a dig, and you want to get to the end of the section,
yeah,
no matter how little success you've had digging through
yeah.
crates, hoping to find a gem. You're like, what if on that last box right at the end there is something that I really want? I'm gonna have to work all the way through because you never quite know.
No, I know what you mean. It's one of those, isn't it? Um, I think we concluded that section there. So we're going to move on to the next round, which is discography. So in a second we'll be back. There'll just be a little intro, and then we'll be back with that. Okay, so this is discography where we talk about the guests' music they've made themselves. So to start that out, so what sort of tracks have you made then?
Well, I mean, I started messing around with or dabbling into production. Gosh, how many years ago? Probably 7 or 8 years ago, maybe. So yeah, I've made a fair few tracks. It's house music. Well, yeah, it's always been house music. And I guess the most recent one that I've put out is just a remix actually of Funky Town.
All
And
right, cool, cool.
I got to play that actually at the last DJ social, the Preston DJ social last
Oh,
month.
cool, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that
cool.
was nice.
Definitely. Obviously, you did a remix there.
Mm.
So what was it about that song that you wanted to remix? Like, what sort of led you down the path of remixing that song? Because I'm always interested when like a DJ chooses a specific song.
Yeah.
I feel like it says a lot about the DJ when they choose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think I've just I've been enjoying disco stuff, and started looking a bit further back in time for my records, like linking into my expanding my vinyl collection and stuff. And I just got reminded of that track, and then I thought, well, I could put a bit of a modern twist on this, or give it a bit of a revamp. And it just, sometimes when you start on a remix, it can be quite slow going, and you're not quite sure if it's going to work. But that one just kind of fell into place nicely, and it came together quite quickly. So that's how it happened.
So when you come to do a remix, what's your sort of process? What's the sort of starting point, would you say?
I mean, I have to really like the track, of course. Yeah, I have to feel like I could add something to it.
Yeah.
Not saying that I feel like I can outdo the original, because I'm not. That's not my intention, and I certainly don't think I do that. But I have to think that it could benefit, or I could fit it into my style, I suppose.
Definitely, I love that. What I loved there was, and this is what I love about all the guests I've had on so far, is everyone's so like respectful of, like, when you talk about there, you felt like you were better. You were trying to say that you obviously weren't like better than the person that made it, and you couldn't do a better. Like, you weren't trying to do it. You were trying to just do what you could. Like, you were trying to be you and give your energy to it. And it's really nice to see that. Like, I love how, like, no one on this podcast has, like, sort of a big ego, and it's really nice to see that, man.
I think it's just honesty, to be honest, and it's
Yeah.
kind of
But
an awareness of how
yeah,
brilliant
definitely.
some of these musicians are, and
Yeah,
how I'm just a small fry, and just enjoying the process myself.
definitely. I love that. Like I say, I just love how, like, everyone. I'm trying to get my words out here, and I feel like I'm rambling, but
Are you thinking of the word humble?
yeah, I don't like to say it because I feel like it's oversaid. But no, like,
I've liked to say it quite a lot recently, actually, because I'm also an Arsenal fan, and so having a dig at Erling Haaland has been quite good fun.
But no, like you say, humble, like, it does get used a lot, but I think, it's nice. Everyone I've spoken to so far have been so humble, and just, like, you can tell, like, that they're doing it because they love it, and the enjoyment of it, and the enjoyment that everyone else gets from the music. And I just love that. And I feel like that's what music should be about. It should be
I think it's what it has to be about.
yeah,
I think that's the only way that good music or good nights are made and had.
definitely. To move on to the next question now, which I think this fits in quite nicely. So, what do you have planned for the future then? What's your sort of plans with the DJ?
Well, I'm just trying to get my name out there a little bit more recently. I'm just trying to play in as many new places as I can, and show people what I can do as much as possible. And what I want to be trying to do more is maybe starting to organise some of my own events in collaboration with others.
Definitely. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next round now, which is Dream Big, where we're going to talk about your, like, future ambitions and what your success in the future looks like. So 1 second, and we'll be back. Okay, so this is Dream Big. So to start this round off, we're going to ask what's your biggest ambition for music?
I mean, it's just about small steps really for me at the moment. And, whatever comes down the line, I'll absolutely take it. But as I said before, I'm just trying to get my name out there, playing as many local venues as I can, and show people what I can do. So yeah, and I suppose, as I said before as well, I'm building towards being able to organise some of my own events, and there is
Definitely.
one in the pipeline at the moment actually. That I'm not sure if you've come across P Town Collective, but in collaboration with them, we're going to be organising a night in a couple of months.
Oh, cool, man. I think I have got them following them on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'll give them a look up after we finish this. Because I see their posts, but I want to. There's so much, like we were saying about before, about Instagram and like social media. There's so much information getting thrown at you. Sometimes you like, oh my God, I saw this thing and I want to try and find it, but was it this person or was it that person?
Yeah, no, there's so much going on, and there's so much going on in Preston and in the
I know,
northwest,
yeah.
which is fantastic.
I feel like we're really having like, I can't think of a better word, but like a renaissance of like, I love that word.
But we're moving into a golden era of Preston here.
I do feel like that. Like I listened to it on, I think it was Radio 6. There was a clip going around on social media, and they were saying something like Preston has a lot of like quirky and unique venues, and that if they were in like a city like Manchester or Liverpool, they'd be like the cool spot, but also the most popular spot. But because they're in Preston all together, it's sort of like. But I feel at the same time, we were just saying there, like it is sort of popping, like it is sort of like things are starting to go really good. Maybe
Absolutely,
that's
I think we're very lucky at the moment in Preston.
definitely, like I say, you got to give a shout out to Choose Yard, man.
Absolutely,
Might as well mention on here. They're so lovely people there.
cool venue, isn't it? And it's very very welcoming.
What I like about it is it focuses on the community. Everyone's included. No one's left out. If you're there to be an honest, contributing person, you'll be fine there. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, everyone's there to spread a good vibe and be nice to everyone and get along, and I just love it. It's just so nice, So with that in mind, we're talking about venues. So what's your sort of dream sort of festival or concert or location to do a DJ set at?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty realistic, but I would love to play in Ibiza one day.
Yeah.
Not saying it's going to happen, but I think that's on a lot of DJs' dream big list.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. The only thing I would add to that, though, I wouldn't like if I was going there, I wouldn't hang around afterwards, because I don't want to. I'm not really like a sort of. I feel like like a lot of issues with DJs that have problems in Ibiza. It's because they sort of get soaked up into the sort of party atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? You're there to do a job, aren't you? Really? And I wouldn't want to get sort of like sucked up into like. I would want to just get in there, do a great set, enjoy that, and sort of get out. I wouldn't want to just sort of.
Really?
I want to be like professional as possible. I wouldn't want to sort of like if it's not a holiday, is it? You know what I mean? You're there to do your best work, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I would quite like it to be both. I would like to do my job and enjoy that, and then I would like to enjoy also being just there as a guest, because I've never been to a beach.
No, same here.
Never
Yeah.
been to the incredible nightclubs, so I would like to do both.
Yeah, I'd like to do both, but separately.
That's probably very wise.
Separately, party on one journey, DJ on the other, because then they're separate entities. I like to sort of compartmentalize it a bit so that they don't clash, and then it's all good.
Fair enough. I think maybe when I was a bit younger, that might have been an issue, but these days I'm a bit more relaxed and don't drink as much, so probably won't be as much of a problem.
No, I know what you mean. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've got left to ask. So, is there for the best way to describe this is the last person I spoke to, I said, like, is there any other dreams or ambitions within music or DJing that you want to achieve? So, for example, me, I'd love to write like a James Bond theme, but like a dance track one, like maybe something like drum and bass or something. So that's my sort of aspiration, like for the future. But is there anything like out? Just it's not like a common sort of thing that people want to go and do. Like you've thought about for however long.
Well, I mean, you've just on that James Bond dance thing. What wasn't there a was it a Madonna track or
There was,
one
yeah.
that
But
was
I'm talking.
quite electronic-y and dancey? I seem to remember.
But I'm going like heavy. I'm meaning like full on rave sort of like build up.
Oh, right.
So yeah, was there anything like that for you? That you can think of?
I mean, not that I think because I'm so focused at the moment on getting the small things right and just trying to build my profile a little bit because I just enjoy playing
Yeah.
for the small venue so much. That's what I'm really focused on at the moment. There's nothing that immediately springs to mind that is a huge ambition of mine. But I mean, as I said, that playing in Ibiza would be a bit of a dream, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Playing.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I suppose something that comes to mind now. Actually, I always used to listen to Pete Tong's Radio 1 show on a Friday evening. I don't do it as much anymore, and perhaps I should get back into that. My dream then, and while I was producing as well, was always imagine being the Pete Tong's essential new tune for that week. I mean that would just be dream come true, wouldn't it? That'd be the coolest thing.
Definitely. Like I say, I love that answer. As you know, I love. We spoke about this previously. I love Pete Tong myself, so I can totally understand that. Like I say, the one thing I was thinking about Pete Tong the other day, when I was speaking to my dad about, was like BBC Radio, how they move DJs around. Like so, I think Trevor Nelson has moved from like late evening to like the breakfast show, or not the breakfast show, but like the afternoon show on Radio 2. It's funny with Pete Tong, he never really moves because of the genre of music he plays, because it's always current, isn't it? So he'll never be, I don't reckon they'll ever move him, or else he'll just go to another radio station because of the genre of like type of music he plays. Which is
I think the time on a Friday has changed a few times, hasn't it? And I think I'm not sure what it is at the moment, but I know that he was being pushed a bit later, I think. But yeah, I mean he's a legend, isn't he? And
I mean, he'll never do the breakfast show, for example, would he? I mean, he wouldn't be doing the breakfast show.
No, although I think I would listen to that, though, to be fair.
I would listen to that. Imagine waking up in the morning. That is the breakfast show. I mean, maybe we're on to something here. Maybe we need to write a letter.
Am I right in thinking that he lives in LA now? Is that right? And he often does his show from over there. I thought that was the case.
I think so. I think he's probably, knowing him, he's probably got a few places dotted about.
I'm sure he does, yeah. But I mean, how great is it that he's coming to Preston?
I'm writing my sign now. how I had a sign yesterday. For the listeners, I had a sign yesterday at the DJ Social that said "Spread Love." Well, I'm writing one for the concert that he's doing at Preston. It's going to be, of course, it can only be the words that will be on it. It's all gone Pete Tong.
I think it might have to be a little bit bigger though, Rambo, than your DJ Social.
I know, yeah. But that was because it was like an incognito prop that, when I got up there, I was like... Yeah. But this one, it'll be like...
Oh, yeah.
I mean... I can't...
You said it's all gone Pete Tong there. Isn't that like a nice... I mean, I feel like that's a nice story about him, isn't it? That he used to make quite a lot of mistakes, I believe, as an early DJ. And, isn't that a great lesson to everybody that, you shouldn't worry if your set isn't perfect or if you make mistakes, because everybody does. And that's what that's what makes your sets yours, doesn't it?
Definitely. And do you know what? I feel like that is a perfect like sentiment to sort of end it on. I feel like that is a good place to sort of like leave it, because I think that you're right. It is, I feel like we only learn from the mistakes, and the mistakes make you the stronger DJ, performer, person, and you're right. We all could learn that lesson a bit more when we're in there. As a DJ I know said, in the heat of battle, that's what he described it of, just, chill out a bit more, and learn from those mistakes. We make them, but, it's the next move. It's the next move that matters, isn't it? It's the next thing you do that matters.
Well, it is, but definitely. It shows that we care when we get bothered by a mistake. But at the same time, if you're not making mistakes every now and then you're probably not pushing yourself as far as you could. So it's definitely a good sign.
Definitely. Well, this has been a great interview. I've enjoyed speaking with you. And like I say, any updates you've got, just let us know, and we'll update on the Instagram channel. If you're doing any events or anything, just send that over, and we'll help to put that out there for people that may want to come see you, that might live locally, DJ, on the vinyl.
Thank you for that, definitely. And as I said, the one that we're going to be doing with P-Town Collective, that's going to be a vinyl only night. So we're going to have a series of probably 4 DJs over the course of the night, and we're going to be using the new venue in Preston. I'm not sure if you've heard of the Arch Studios, but we're going to be doing it there. So that's going to be April 17th.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Well, like I say, super enjoyed this. You have a great day there, and speak soon.
Cheers,
Thanks
mate.
for coming on the podcast. See you later.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.